In this video, we'll be checking out this $100,000 YouTube studio setup and how you can implement some of the things in it. Let's go.
You gotta just press record.
Now, I'm here with my friend Ryan Pineda, who has recently built out this YouTube studio setup for multiple purposes. Ryan, tell him a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name's Ryan, real estate investor here in Las Vegas, own a few different businesses, but YouTube and podcasting are my newest ventures, and Omar's been helping me out a lot.
More than anything, this isn't about the actual gear and the costs of this setup. Just pull some principles and I'll be here to make sure that happens, but let's get into the first area, which is kind of like his live streaming work area section.
So right here is where I spend the majority of my time. This is actually my workstation and a filming set. So I've got my computer here and I got this desk custom made from my friend. It actually is a stand-up desk, live edge, super nice. And this is where I pretty much spend all my time. But when I have the filming, we've got all of our set behind me, which is pretty much all of my favorite things as a kid and kind of my history.
Yeah, what I love about this area of Ryan's setup is it kind of just exudes his personality and the things that he likes, which also the fact that it doubles as so many different things. Like you also live stream and Zoom call from here, and then it's also your background to your YouTube videos. I know when you first started, this was like a lot of your YouTube videos, but there's something to say about being able to turn around the area you work in and make it a place where you can actually start producing content.
I think the other cool part about it too is that since it was always my background starting out in YouTube, whenever I have someone to come meet me for a meeting and they're like, man, I feel like I'm in a YouTube video right now.
No, yeah, so that's what's so cool about really making your space yours. People can really connect to it based off of what you have added, and to add your kind of personality to it. It's just a good thing to do when you're setting up your YouTube studio setup. Now this next area of Ryan's YouTube studio setup is his video podcast section. What he's essentially accomplishing is a 3-angle video podcast with 3 cameras and then 2 different mics. And so between the 2 people who are on the show, him and his guests, you have 1 wide shot, 1 tight shot on one person, and then 1 tight shot on another person. And this could be achieved with your smartphones. This could be achieved with any kind of camera. But the cameras that they've been using are Sony a7S IIIs. And then their main angle is actually a cinema camera. It's the Sony FX6. It's like a $6,000 camera.
Yeah, so we started the podcast back in mid-February and it's been a really big success. It ranked top new shows on Apple, so super proud of it. But I knew I wanted to get in the podcast game because that's what I consume the most content of. I love listening to podcasts and I love interviewing people and having cool people on.
Nonetheless, what you can actually learn about a setup like this is that you are using a corner to kind of look at the person, and so you're not looking straight ahead, and so it creates a cool conversational dynamic when you're conducting a podcast. And so it doesn't matter what room you have. If you have a corner, you can kind of have a setup like this if you just get an L-shaped desk. But Ryan, talk about that custom table that you got made.
So the same guy who made my workstation table actually made that custom table for me for the podcast. We had to get it that custom fit so our office still was functional, yet we got everything we wanted. I love the lighting that he put underneath it. It gives it some really cool features. We can change it if we're talking to a different person or using a different brand. I also love having the TV on the podcast because it allows us to give up different looks. We can also do commercials. There's a whole bunch of things that we use that TV for that are really good. And we actually just made a change to the podcast. It was kind of a little bare in the middle of that corner right there. So we got some custom shelves made and I actually put my new YouTube plaque there. So I'm super proud of that. And then TikTok sent me a skateboard randomly. So I didn't really have anywhere to put it. So I figured it's cool to have the YouTube and the TikTok right there.
Yeah, and I love the final touch of that neon sign. We actually have a Think neon sign too in a lot of our setups. And a lot of people ask, like, where do you get your neon sign made? You can actually look for custom sign makers in your city and they will probably make you a custom neon sign as well.
Yeah, the guy who made mine was a local guy. I think it was about $1,500 to create the sign and get it installed.
There are some things that he has added to this room, which I think is super smart. What are some of those things?
Yeah, so behind us we have the green screen as well as a little white screen, and we use that for different things, thumbnails mainly. So the green screen is a nice piece to have. Another thing we did was we completely soundproofed the entire room. So all the way from every wall to the entire ceiling, because that was actually how we met. I was trying to fix my sound and you were like, well, you need to do X, Y, Z. And then sure enough, I spent $100,000.
There you go. There you go.
And then here we are, we're talking about it. So a lot of the cost was through building out the entire studio itself. We also did some custom lighting around the podcast table. So there's a whole bunch of things we had to do custom.
No, yeah, I think that's super smart. And a lot of people can take that tip just in your general office or wherever you're filming your videos, is that, prioritizing audio is really important, because audio is 50% of the video viewing experience. And so soundproofing your area or just minimizing your echo and things like that can really help the viewer's experience when they're watching your content. I also love that you did put that photo backdrop for your thumbnails. And then as you can see, the black wall that's behind me, it actually covers up the glass or the work area that's outside. And that also stops light from coming in. So maybe you have a window that you really can't control the light of. Really having a blackout curtain won't be a terrible idea, because now you can control lighting with the lighting you purchase for your videos.
Yeah, and Omar, speaking of audio, we actually took out the AC vents in this room. The AC was so loud, and you could just hear it in all of my videos, that I said, you know what? I'm just taking out the vents and I'm gonna have to suffer with the consequences. So yeah, it's a little toasty right now. I didn't tell you beforehand when you wore that jacket.
I'm like sweating right now.
I'm a veteran. I try to wear as little as possible in this studio.
But I definitely think any measures you can take to improve your audio, go ahead and do it if it makes sense for you. So that kind of covers this general box. This is a 20 by 15 square foot space that Ryan has designed to be used for multiple ways of creating content. He's just been investing in growing his YouTube channel and online presence. But more than anything, Ryan, can you just share a little bit where people can find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on YouTube at Ryan Pineda. You can also go find me on Instagram, TikTok. You can go find the podcast at The Ryan Pineda Show. But if you want to get in touch with me and see all the other things we got going on, just go to ryanpineda.com.
Yeah, we'll make sure we post everything down in the description below if you want to check it out. And if you want to check out an interview we just did to finish out this series, it's how Ryan grew to 100,000 subscribers in under a year, and he shares about the 5 things he learned in doing so. And so you can check out that video by clicking or tapping the screen, and I can't wait to see you in a future video. Peace.